Broadcasting live from Jerusalem, this is Voice of Israel, Israel's premier English language broadcast network. Voice of Israel, bringing Israel closer.
You're listening to the Motto Wolf Show on Voice of Israel. I am your host, Motto Wolf, and this is amazing. Rabbanit, Yemima Mizrachi is here. And Yikrat Freedom, who I get to see all the time because she's my neighbor. But we're going to have a little conversation right now. This is fantastic. I am so happy you guys are here. When did you realize that you have something that women, Jewish women, really connect to?
I did not realize it up till now. It's still a miracle in my eyes. Every shiur, I'm sure I'll come and it'll be empty. And then women come and I'm always so surprised and so proud of our Torah. Because I see that Torah has power of comfort. I see women coming sad and getting out happy, and it's be'emet not me. It's really the power of the words, the holy words of the Torah, the holy words of this holy language.
So, I mean, the Torah's been there for thousands of years, right? But this is a phenomenon. The way you present the Torah is reminiscent. When did you realize in your life? Because you were also a great teacher as an Ulpan teacher. And I'm sure if you taught geometry, you would be a great geometry teacher.
No, I won't.
Okay. But when did you personally realize that you had a gift for speaking to crowds?
The truth is...
And if you lean a little bit closer to
Yeah, the truth is we started as a very small shiur in my apartment, and suddenly one day Yikrat Friedman appeared with her computer and said, this must be written and sent to women. I did not know that these words had such power. And I always loved Torah. We were raised as Torah learners.
Where did you grow up?
In Beit Vagan.
In Beit Vagan?
Yeah. My Abba, Eli Rothschild, is from a Yekef family. He was educated in Reb Shimshon's Raphael Hirsch's way of education, which meant you have to learn something that belongs to the world and still know Torah very, very well. So we learned law.
Did you have a big family?
Yes. Baruch Hashem, very big.
Were you as a child the one who was were you captivating your family as an audience? Was that your first audience?
No one paid attention to me because I was the smallest. So now I recompensate myself, and I have to get my attention back.
That's what all this is.
Exactly. So I run after women so they will listen to my ideas. But I grew up in a family where learning was so important. Abba used to sit with us and learn languages, German, Latinate, Arabic. He forced us simply to learn them. And we learned to love learning, especially Torah learning. And then I was a lawyer for a few years. And then I realized I don't know what the Parashat Shavua was. And it was shameful.
How many years ago was this that you started
13,
thinking?
14?
13, 14.
I started 14 years ago, and I met you 13 and a half years ago.
You cry, and I'd ask you to speak into the microphone. You were there from the beginning. So right after how did you hear that there's this fantastic Torah shiur in Beit Vagan? You still live in Beit Vagan?
No, I live in Sha'arei Chesed.
Sha'arei Chesed now.
Well, I was looking for a good shiur. Okay, can you hear me? Start again.
Yeah, no, go ahead, keep going.
I was looking for a really good shiur that would, enlighten me in a way and put some life into my life, because I was desperately seeking for new ideas. I was a wife. I was a mother to little children. I felt clueless in this world. All the studies I ever done didn't prepare me to be a wife, to be a mother, to be a happy woman. Only I was really into my career, but all the rest was really
And then you
dull.
heard about this. Who told you?
And
a
then
friend?
Two friends told me
friends.
separately. And it's funny because she had a shiur with 8 women. So 2 of them told me separately, there is a nice shiur at my friend's house. And I'm like, okay, what's this shiur about? And they would say, it's Parashat Shavua. And I'm like, oh, no, not Parashat Shavua. I'm looking for a shiur about child education, about
It's all in
relationships.
there. It's all in there.
Yeah, so I postponed and I just didn't come for months, and then I'm like, okay, fine. I didn't find any other shiur, so I might as well go to see this.
And you like all of
lady.
these other, all these women that are hearing this, it just lit you up.
There were
we'll
8
say.
women, and some of them were really old women from the neighborhood, and they would come and they would nod like, yeah, she speaks very nicely, very nice, kol hakavod. And I was like, wow, how come nobody sees this is wow? I never heard anything like this before. And I would come to the Rabbanit and I would say, this is a wow shiur. And I remember you said to me, Yemima, you said...
And you were still a lawyer at this point.
And she said, it's
Nachon.
Rashi and Ramban.
What kind of law? What kind of law were you doing?
Matrimonial couples.
That's tough. That's really hard.
It's ichsa, nachon. But I had a dream to save the world, that when a couple that fights comes to me, I will make shlom bayit.
You're going to put matrimonial attorneys out of business. Is that your goal? You were like, I've got to shut this whole thing down?
Exactly. I never thought it would be so sad, because when they made shalom, it was a cripple.
Right.
It was not be'emet shalom. They had to compromise on so many things. And when they got divorced, it was sad as well. So it was too sad. And I wanted so much to make them happy again and to see everything okay again. It happened, and it still happens. But in most of cases, when you decide you do not want this couplehood anymore, then
Right.
if you do not do it, Hashem won't do it for you.
How many times do you think it's just that people just don't know? They don't know how to be couples. Mm-hmm. They lack the tool set to... Because, here's not... I've had a very good relationship for 23 years. I mean, not with the same woman. No, I'm just kidding. Same woman. We've been Batia for 23 years. And I still have a question. So I'd be pretty good at it. I'm thinking like... I've got a good run going so far. But this is the question I want to ask you. What do women want? You seem to have found how do I become a better husband, happier wife? I'm all right. I'm pretty good. She's also a tzadekis, so that helps.
She is.
But what do women want?
So the truth is, the answer is that a woman will always stay in a hunger for attention. It's one of the curses we got on Parashat Bereshit. Ve'el ishech teshukatech vehu yimshol bach. It means we will always feel we lack something. That's why the key word, when the Torah wants to describe relations between a man and his wife, yefaisena, he should lefayes ota. How do you say in English? It's like apologizing. For what? It's not Yom Kippur. Piyus is a term of Yom Kippur, because she will always feel lacking. But what you can do is really to let her feel she is first priority, not the work, nor the children. First priority, the only thing a woman not only allows but wants to see higher than her is the Torah. If you learn Torah, she'll be so happy because she knows that you'll respect her much better. And first priority.
Wait. Is first priority learning Torah, or is first priority giving your wife attention?
To put your wife in first priority is to put Torah in first priority.
Okay, so learning, going out to a shiur is also, but you should say honey, I'm doing this for you.
Nachon. So the American word honey doesn't work anymore, I think.
Davash, it does. It's sweet. Honey, it's...
It's not. It's when you want to say something rude or against her will, you say honey. Lo. As the money is better.
Money.
Nachon.
Call her money.
Nachon.
You've been traveling to America. I got an email today. I put out on Facebook that I'm going to be speaking with you, and I said any messages. This is from Denise Stern, Rabbanit Denise Stern. I've known her for a long time. She said, Rabbanit Yemima Mizrachi, she's the best, nicest, funniest, most brilliant, ever loving every Jew person I've ever met.
Oh, wow.
That's a quote.
Yeah, those hespedim I hear.
Eulogies.
Exactly. Imale.
So
No.
you just got back from America again. You have a huge audience, and you already had a huge audience here in Israel among Hebrew speakers, but you are finding an enormous audience among English speakers in America. What do you see as the difference between Jews living in Chutz La'aretz, living in America, that are connected enough even to come out, and stand in line and, camp out like concert tickets to get Rabbanit, Yemima, Mizrachi seats, versus what you have here in Israel?
I really, really, I'm not humble. I really do not think I'm any better of any other Rebbitzins, and there are such huge Rebbitzins in Artzot Habrit, but they want to hear the music of Eretz Israel. קחו מזמרת הארץ בכליכם, says Yaakov to his sons when they go to Mitzrayim. Because the things that you bring from Eretz Israel have a special smell and special music. And I think that that's what they yearn for. Because it's Eretz Israel's Torah, and it's different. It's different. I was in the States the day of the Pigua in Har Nof, and I felt them coming to the shiur as if they want to hear news, as if I knew something they do not know. We know the same. We also the horrible news in the BBC where they said 2 Palestinians and 4 Jewish people were killed. Right. In a pigua. We all share the same news, but they looked at me as if I have something new to say to them because I am from Eretz Israel. Torat Eretz Israel, Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev says, Ein Torah keTorah Eretz Israel. It has another smell.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they need like a voice of Israel.
נכון.
I'm giving a little plug. That's the name of our station.
זה נכון, בהחלט.
Right. All right. So that's what we're trying to do as well.
בדיוק.
Did I hear your husband's American?
No,
he's not. I didn't hear that.
My husband is Greek. He's
Your
from
husband's
Yavan.
Greek.
נכון.
Wow. And he grew up in Greece?
No.
No.
His family was killed in the Holocaust and they came to Israel. Yeah. He is from the Sfaradim Holocaust survivors family. I'm so happy that you ask about him. I'm so
a bunch of people asked me, like, who's the rabbi of the Rabbanit? Like, who's, so please tell me about your husband.
So once we went to a Sheva Brachot and a wicked old lady asked him, "Are you Harav Yemima?" And he said yes, humbly. So everything I do, I wouldn't have been able to do it without his support. Be'emet. And his humility, it's not easy.
Sure.
Mamash, people speak of your wife, and he's be'emet a huge Talmid Chacham, and he supports me until he yells at me, and it happens a lot. But I yell back, and the children yell at both of us.
What does he yell at you about?
The balagan.
The balagan.
The gan. I call it, I am a spiritual woman, but he says I am a mevulgenet woman, and the truth is in the middle, I guess. So he is very, very, he likes things to
meticulous.
be... Me'od. I don't know what it means, but it's that.
Right.
And yes, I am a vulgenet.
And is he an introvert? Like, are you now? All right, so let me go. Sometimes big public speakers are naturally introverted, but when they come out on stage, they're extroverted. I get the feeling that you're the talker in the family. He's happier, probably better one-on-one. You're probably get your energy from the crowd.
So he is a very, very talented teacher himself. But and he teaches men, he gives Shlom Bayit shiurim, beautiful Shlom Bayit shiurim. But since men are not interested to learn Shlom Bayit because they think they are perfect in Shlom Bayit, and women always go and want to learn more and be better. So he is not as famous as I am because men really, when they sit in a Torah shiur, when they are satisfied, it's because they are so happy that the friend sitting next to them listens to this. He needs this. I'm so happy he's here. So men are different.
Right. I know I have the answer for perfect Shalom Bayit. Mm-hmm. Marry a fantastic woman. That's it. Really, I could be a lot better. I could be a lot better with it, but I don't have to be. Wow. I'm married to a fantastic woman. What message do you have for women that are if you had to take all of these wildly popular shirim and boil them down into one message, what would that be?
every day, I always say to my students, you put your right hand on the mezuzah, that's what the Ben Ish Chai says, and pray for one thing. Hashem, give me, please, love. When you have love, all the obstacles, all the hard things you go through in life become so small because you have love. We know Yaakov that worked for 7 years for his wife, and it's like nothing. ויהיו בעיניו כימים אחדים באהבתו אותה. When you really love, things don't mean so much. So he said this and he's done that. Azma, I love. So what a woman really needs, and it gives her such energy, is love and happiness. And that's what we should daven for every day, pray for every day, to be happy and loving. I was in the Shiva of the Kupinski family, which her husband was murdered 2 weeks ago. Her daughter was niftar, died 2 years ago, 13 years old, in her sleep. And her little son, 6 years old, asked her in the Shiva, Ima, you said that Abba was killed on Kiddush Hashem. So he's in a very high place in the sky. And Chanachaya died in her sleep. Will they meet there? Because they are in different places. And her Ima said to him, up there is Achdus. And then she turned to me and said...
Oneness.
Exactly. Then she turned to me and said, Yemima, tell everyone you see. So I do this for her, for Am Yisrael. She said, tell them that so many people came to Lenachem Avelim. So many, frum and unfrum and religious and Kippa Sruga and Kippa Shchora and all kinds of Jewish people. And they were all like one in my eyes because they were so involved in my pain. They loved me so much and I loved them so much. And when you love, you do not see differences. You do not see badness. So all we need is love. Am I quoting someone I shouldn't?
No, it's John Lennon. It's John Lennon. His heart was in the right place. He really believed that and thought he was going to that. That's a whole different thing. Let me ask you this question. I mean, you get called to be at a lot of these places. That's a difficult thing, the shivas. It was a hard summer. It's been a hard winter. What's the most difficult part about being Rabbanit Yemima Mizrachi?
So the most difficult part is the exposure, to be very, very exposed. And it means you have to smile. And when persons have problems, and sometimes I go out from the house and say, if one woman is going to ask me for a bracha, I'm simply going to yell at her. But then I see those faces and I melt because bemet, women are such tzadikot and so much want to be better and to learn but it's hard to be exposed. It's hard. And the conscience, because you leave a house with little children, big children, children that are on their way to get married children, pregnant daughter that has to give birth, and you feel sometimes that you neglect them, and it's also hard. It's hard.
How do you balance it? How do you balance all of these things? You have a very busy, active career. You have Kanai Nahara, a lot of kids, and Yikrat's taken after you. She takes your advice very, very well. She's had her 9th, and you have a husband, and you're teaching how to be a good wife and a good mom. What gives? What do you have to give up on the most to be? Because you can't have everything. You can't dance at 2 weddings. What gives in your life that you would prefer not to give?
Of course, that the answer is time. It's time. But I just said to Yikrat now that children are so full of love towards you. They let you...
Sometimes.
Until they are 3 years old. Yeah. Afterwards, it changes, nachon, but they forgive you. They give you another time to compensate them, and it exists only when you love someone very dearly, like Hashem. When you miss one tefillah, you have something very strange which is called tfilat tashlumim. Okay, so you can pay me later. And Hashem accepts it because He loves us and He wants us to be near Him. Vezehu. So you are not here now, you will be with me later. So of course the conscience works. And of course my children love to tell me many times when I yell at them, Chaval, it's a pity you're telling me don't see you now. And they have their... but,
they know where to get you.
נכון. But I always say that it motivates us, the feeling that I'm never perfect, nor here, nor here. If I'll be perfect, so I won't work on myself anymore. So...
Right. When we have those moments, when Bati and I have those moments where the kids are just being so loving, my daughter will be curling up and just saying, she does this, she sings this I love you song. And I'm like, I can't help but think, you know what? 20 years from now, she's going to be in a therapist's office and saying like, you never loved me. And that's really hard. What do you see, where do you see this going from here as far as this reach to women? Do you see a shift happening in women's learning? How do we make Torah and Judaism and Israel more relevant to a generation of women who have either never been taught its relevance or are so busy with life they haven't been able to grasp its relevance?
Nachon, it was a huge question what you ask now 10 years ago. And now it's not a question because the thirst is unbelievable. Before Yom Kippur, before Rosh Hashanah, such Chiloni women come and listen to the shiurim. I never could believe.
Secular women are coming.
Nachon. It's something I cannot, I really do not have to do something, anything. So many times people ask me, what's your charm? What's your secret? It's not. It's simply the generation. I have a very easy work on this aspect. I don't have to sell Torah. I don't have to make it very attractive because people are simply attracted. They come, they want to learn, and they want to hear what Torah has to say. And it's automatic, mamash.
Wow. All right. Well, I would say like, I wish you luck. Hashem should bless you with doing this, but you're doing it. You're just doing. You're obviously you meet people who who are in certain places where you could just tell they're doing what they were put in this world to do, and you're really in that. And
it's not me alone. It's my helpers. It's my husband and my parents and my children, and Yikrat that does a huge work, behemet, and it's not easy.
She works hard on this.
מאוד.
Right.
It's Osnat, my secretary. It's the Ashira, איך אומרים? אתר.
The site that broadcasts your
נכון,
right.
the broadcast.
ParshaVaisha.com is how do they find out Yikrat? How do we get more Rabbanit Yemima Mizrachi?
In English? Or
how do we get her? Yeah, in English. Talk right.
We have to restart it. After one whole year of sending shiurim in English, it was very nice. I think we should restart it at some point soon.
All right. There's a lot of people that agree with you on that.
You can come visit us at www.parasha.org, and hopefully we'll do something soon.
All right.
For all the English-speaking women.
Okay. Well, it's great having you. It's an honor to have you here, Rabbanit.
It's an honor for
coming.
me.
Thank you for coming in.
בהצלחה גדולה.
Thank you. You've been listening to the Mata Wolf Show on Voice of Israel. Thanks a lot.
If you enjoyed that video, click on the link below to go to the website and hear more Voices of Israel.